Previously on the Great Ace Attorney. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh, so to speak. What you mean in the wood? It's a matter of speaking. An idiom. Oh. Listen, did he just insult my intelligence? No, an idiom is a turn of phrase. Oh. Hello, YouTube. I'm Unca Crunk. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney, where we just had an emergency recess due to somebody dropping a smoke bomb in the place. It's 12:52 p.m. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Oh, good. Mr. Zato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Along with a young girl. Oh, okay. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? Just taking a huge risk and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo? Okay, so I guess that's also a notebook. He took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. Well, I certainly hope so, Miss Susato. Yes! I've said all along that the coachman was lying about the number of passengers. 1 p.m. Okay. And who might you be? There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look! She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Definitely not small enough to fit in the underseat, storage. I was thinking much younger, like 8 or 9. Well, after that rather uneventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled the proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade, which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lassie was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? It's all tied up with the events of that night, as so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Witness testimony. Young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Bagara, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I set him up on the seat across from me. I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless me soul, what did I find? There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
It's exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the fifth passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Cross-examination, start. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, that's why I took the back side as it did. Just the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. Just how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, just the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Then Bagor, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream.
Oh, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There's a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I set him up on the seat across from me.
Hold it!
You set him up. The victim, you mean?
That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. You wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? Just common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Lord Van Zeeks. Now where would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well, now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest.
Unfortunately, my dear lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try where it's all possible to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble.
Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there?
If it's live now, I was always intending to report it, so it was. Only, I had in mind to find out the whys and wherefores first.
The whys and wherefores?
Right you are. There are some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless me soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
Afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. Sir, I did, sir, I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Now, tis a queer thing. We scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse a vulgar expression, under me backside.
Wait a minute, so she was in the underseat storage?
Okay, that seat's bigger than I thought it was.
Good gracious. Under your backside?
And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course, and I've already seen the damn thing.
This would be
No, we've already looked.
And this when I found her. There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself?
She's as tall as you are. Possibly taller. She's slouching.
Hey, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there. Set her up on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her.
The seat opposite?
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, gentlemen in my position can all too often find themselves in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and gentleman with a knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason.
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. This still doesn't help anyone.
It certainly is possible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl.
After that, of course. With the scream for the gentleman over as the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket.
What? This girl here, a petty thief. Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question.
Oh dear.
Darn! How dare you? What is the meaning of this?
Oh, she's gone.
The girl, she's gone.
Up in your eyes. Oh. I'm over here.
Good gracious, how?
What's the point in that little sidestep? I know what you're thinking. Oh, no, wait. I know what you lie are thinking. Grown-ups all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed a jet. Go on. That's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Ah! Look, knives are for cowards. Only dogs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. That looks a lot like the mark that Herlock Sholmes wears on his coat. Nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
But do not wave that thing in my direction again.
Oh dear.
So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Tis all right, lass. You can tell him the truth now. All right, yeah. It's just like the Irishman say.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
All right. If I have to. Witness testimony. What the girl saw. From the girl's perspective. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses like always. Was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that iron space. It's pitch in there. After a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And a scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mine. Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Just simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the autumn passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? Because he was sitting on her. Yes, I'm sure it's said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself.
I think a demonstration is called for.
This is where I sat that night.
And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume.
It's empty now. It wasn't empty when I looked at it.
Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature.
Hey, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd perked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah!
See, that's why I left the last... See, that's why I let the last bolt. I knew if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punch on Mary's own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Oh, look at that! Yay! With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yay! That's everybody.
Sakes alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
Okay. Mr. Naruhodo, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious! Doesn't the prosecutor get the same, consideration that we did when we turned it around? Are you sure we've won?
Objection!
Here we go.
Go!
Nine out of 10 on Wiki Feet.
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices.
Yeah?
Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day.
Emotion?
The witness's last statement gives a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean it's true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation.
And?
The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings.
Hey, that's what I said earlier.
It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilda's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
That would be the urchin, Lestrade.
What? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing these to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty.
I can testify to that as well. It was not empty at all. Might have fit an 8-year-old, but not a 15-year-old.
Well, my Nipponese friend.
Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
Damn it! This is... If I lie and say that it was empty, my client gets away scot-free, everything's fine. But he told the truth about something that he didn't need to tell the truth about. So the game's like, you would feel really guilty if you lied right now, wouldn't you? Damn, and blast. To be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry. Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. Now, this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
Well, Consul, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? Is this going to be a game over? If I answer honestly. All right, gotta do it. Sorry, McGilded, but I'm not going to lie for you. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes.
Oh, are you sure, Counsel?
Arda, be whist. What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. Well, I am, but still.
What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position?
Because it's the truth. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Have I earned your respect yet?
Interesting.
That's not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. And don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. Fella's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here?
I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. A compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Gale's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. A money-lending fleecer and a pickpocket's a lion.
Damn it. Yep. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich always stink us. None but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh no. That's a trick. Of course it's a trick. What so? I must concur here. Very long way to go for a game over game. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Oh, was that everyone? My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate.
Ooh, that was close.
Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. Again. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Cross-examination, start. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spinning a joey to make a few bob, huh? That's the wrong idea, isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. Actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants.
Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free. Great conk of a driver's always going for some grub before his last run, see. So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no?
Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, but sure. Always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to spot him much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Oh, it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night.
Hold it!
Waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit?
Oh yeah, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose. Point is, any normal run, carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away? That's it. Only that night. This COVID was set on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge all the way, did he? Not an inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin.
Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. As shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift a cushion you've been sat on to find a child, now do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Oh, no, go back.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a shot. Most days I push a cushion up with me head and have a look out the crack. And I have a butcher said who I'm gonna fiddle. Oh, you're a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat under ain't as plush as the other one's seat. So most of the time, the passengers play themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push up the cushion to see out. I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown into clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? Say there's some reason she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. After a while, I heard this loud bang nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been. Suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily? That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes.
Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it.
What?
I pushed up the cushion and had a quick purchase while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. Sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. Never should have risked looking. It's because of that the swell found me. He helped me get away, you mind?
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down in the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah. Bloke had a knife in his gut. See? He is still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling on me. Ugh, how awful. Both me ends covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawing up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes, and then I had to go and tell the truth. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but just can't quite put my finger on it. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses just like always. Oh, we're back at the beginning? What? Well, damn. Okay, I guess I'll just press on everything again because I don't have anything to present. Yeah, no. Did I miss something? Is there something I didn't press? Whoa. Hello. That didn't happen the first time. Why didn't that happen the first time? I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown into clink.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. McGilded? I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? Just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. Well, I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Showed up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Alright, and I don't know about it yourself. I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. He's leading her on. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything, an unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. Only Miss Lestrade had heard something it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of the last statement of hers? It's important, I guess.
Don't have anything else to go on. My lord.
I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself. Oh. Not exactly, no. Sorry. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGildy sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, would you add him an Eva there? What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. Oh, there it is. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to the market, snoring like an old dog he was. There any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? She should have heard Mason get on. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts.
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared.
So Van Zeeks realized it too. Yeah. She should have heard Mason get on.
Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, whilst she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGildy's snoring.
But think, Ryunosuke, think!
There's something else she should have heard. To a person? Yes, you should have heard Mason. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. Wait, where is... Oh, there he is.
Take that!
Twice fired, Mason?
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. Got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGildy. And it was. Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. I'll not just say as much. Wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He is on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Does the skylight open? Maybe Mason was sitting on top. One of the passengers knifed him, then dropped him through the skylight. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks.
Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement.
It would seem. Words of thanks are in order for my learned friend.
What are you talking about?
You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more.
He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever.
And this girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that.
Oh dear.
She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge a dear little mite just because she has some rather unnaughty ways. Well, I must say, I can't abide liars.
Neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge a girl just because she had some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Oh dear. Mr. Naruhodo, there's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing.
Why are you playing it? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Abaddon? This is carnage. It's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know if we can't find some new way to convince everyone that Mr. McGilda's innocence, the judge will rule and will have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case.
What are you saying?
Cancel! I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus?
Here's dropped through the skylight. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. There's another instant entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered.
Oh, really?
Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin after he was stabbed.
All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin?
Oh.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through, especially if you just drop them like a sack of potatoes.
Objection!
No offense to the Irishman over there.
so you claim.
Why would that be offensive, lad? I don't know. Has the potato famine happened yet? I think it has.
But do you have a shred of evidence to support your adult-brained theory?
Well, let's see if it opens. Both Mr. McGilden and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact.
Good gracious.
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. Now, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible.
How can you be so sure?
Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony.
Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilden? To be sure now. The two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. Boy, seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but tis a case of them being unable to see. What? I think perhaps the two fellas Do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would just not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Oh my goodness, surely not. What's the taps on the roof?
You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were?
Ah!
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer?
You rotter, he said, you rotter! What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blink in a minute.
He'll give you a shine on a minute, he said, and so will I.
Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected blanker.
I'm me, a very angry adder.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts, it's a disgrace. It's scandalous. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too. About you rotten scoundrel.
We got him on the run. Order, order, order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very awful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? Well, I mean, yeah, but, didn't actually say.
It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
Okay, I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify!
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fella. We have to see this matter through now, one way or the other.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Testify! Testify! Testify!
What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord, you will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. And we will hear their testimony in the next episode. To the outro! Well then, it would seem the driver was fleecing his passengers after all. Now, assuming the skylight can be opened from the outside, what I think happened is that Mason was riding up top with the other two for some reason. They both had a grudge against him, stabbed him, dropped him through the skylight, and framed McGilded. Even if the skylight can be opened, it's going to be hard to prove all that, though. Hopefully we can get away with, putting enough doubt in the jury's mind that they'll give us a not guilty verdict without us having to actually prove that they killed the Mason. Although that would be a huge departure for the series because they always have to do the Perry Mason thing. Which, if we do have to do that, that could take a while. Anywho, up here's a playlist of my Persona 5 Royal playthrough, and down here's a video that YouTube recommends. And of course, a very special thank you to everyone who supports me, either on YouTube or Patreon. Your support really does mean a lot. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!